What's going on, everybody? It's time to talk about a sci-fi horror film that I enjoy quite a bit. Who knows about you guys, though? But today we're going to be talking about Event Horizon. It was released by Paramount Pictures August 15th, 1997, and it was produced by Nick uh, Gillot, written by Philip Esner, and directed by Paul Anderson, which is Paul W.S. Anderson, who's done like the Resident Evil franchise, Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil The Final Chapter. He's also done Monster Hunter, Death Race, Pompeii, Mortal Kombat, and a whole bunch of other interesting stuff. His career's all over the place, though. Good, bad, a lot of good, a lot of bad. So yeah, this was had a box off budget of $60 million, and I don't think it made very much because this one involves a lot of studio meddling. So yeah, Event Horizon. Let me try to summarize this film for you. So basically, there's a special team of astronauts basically in a spaceship, and they get sent on a mission to go check out a lost ship called the Event Horizon, which was lost a while ago, and they eventually got it on the radar in their ship. So they go to check it out, and it's like a salvage mission. And basically, they go there and they have two goals: see if the spaceship's salvageable and see if any crew survived. So they get there and they start um investigating the Event Horizon, and things start not going as planned. Some odd things start happening where yeah, they're not sure what it is. People start going insane. People randomly start dying, and they're not sure. The crew's not really sure on how to deal with it or what's actually going on. So eventually, they realize, okay, there's no crew on the ship. But then they go, so they decide to try to leave. But then they realize the ship's basically a portal to hell in the middle of space. That's the best way to describe this movie. It's a little more complex than that, but I don't really want to spoil as much as I can here, so that's where I'm going to leave that for the story summary and move on. So, Event Horizon is quite the interesting film. It's quite the dark film. It's way different than the Resident Evil movies and Mortal Kombat. This is has more of a serious tone, and boy, do they push the craziness. Sam Neill, a lot of big stars, half of Jurassic Park's basically in this, and yeah, and it's really quite the interesting. It definitely gives you an interesting feel, like at one moment you'll feel like you're watching bits of Alien, and then next thing you know you're watching like almost like a Predator type film all mixed into one. And it's quite interesting. There's some really cool gore effects in this movie. It's a little gory in some scenes, which I absolutely love. I love brutal stuff like that. And yeah, but the story in itself is very complex and intricate, so you have to pay attention quite a bit to this one. But for the most part, I enjoyed this movie. It's nice and dark. It's basically lost in space, both like a portal to hell and a lot of other crazy stuff happening. Special effects and makeup still hold up pretty much today, and there's a lot of interesting little hidden things in it that's fun to find as well. Um, yeah, things I didn't like. Well, the story, for one, has quite a few plot holes and is a little bit choppy, especially the way they edited this film. It can be a little overwhelming in some scenes and stuff for some people. I can see why that might be an issue. To me, it wasn't as bad. It's almost like some scenes are almost like from Saw almost, but this was before Saw, and yeah, but yeah, the sets and stuff are great too, and the acting and the music. I absolutely love the music in this. But overall, it's just um, it's complex, and when you don't pay attention to it, especially if you haven't seen it yet, it's quite the jarring film because it'll go from like a hallucination type scene to like all of a sudden visions of hell and gore and what happened to the crew. And yeah, it's cool to have a film like that, but yeah, I kind of wish it was like a little more cohesive and maybe a little more straightforward narrative, because you go from left to right in a narrative throughout this constantly. And yeah, so besides that, though, as long as you could follow along with the story, I think it's a good film. I really enjoyed it. I love it. It's not too scary or anything, especially if you watch a lot like I do. But it's definitely something unique and definitely probably something we wouldn't see getting made these days. And boy, it's definitely has a lot of good tension in that. So, but like the story and the studio interfering, wanting it not be as violent, makes it a little choppy and disorganized type of film. So it's kind of hard to follow nowadays. But overall, besides that, it's a fun space horror flick, which we don't get much of them anymore. So it was definitely good to revisit this one. I'm gonna give Event Horizon a 4 out of 5 because this is definitely down my alley. Sci-fi horror, absolutely. Gore, love it. I love all that type of stuff. So this is definitely down my alley. This one's more for the more crazier, violent type horror fans than like it's not like The Conjuring where it's just ghosts haunting a ship. You'll see a lot of bloody violence and stuff sprinkled throughout, and boy, does it get crazy, weird, and fun. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's good. There's a trail link down below, like always. Also, link down below is my Instagram, where I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. I usually have the film title, hashtag, and the subgenre of film, and a hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also, linked down below is my Letterbox at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films. So follow me on one of those two platforms to stay in the loop for this channel. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any, and if you have any films they want me to review in the future, comment those down below. I'll watch anything, any genre. So, and I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And also, make sure you subscribe, because hopefully you can find something weird, obscure, and odd that you never thought of checking out together, or so you hear my opinions on popular films out there, because apparently I have quite the interesting opinion on most of them. So, yeah, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, that'll do it for this one. Event Horizon is a fun film and a little spooky at times, but definitely underrated. So check it out if you haven't seen it, and make sure you tune in next time, as I'll be jumping into a remake of one of the very first movies I reviewed on this channel. Was The Time Machine, the original one from like the late 50s, and I'll be jumping into the 2002 remake of it, of The Time Machine 2002. That was released in 2002 for my next review. So make sure you ring that bell, and yeah, watch out for all those abandoned spaceships that people are finding and finding portals of hell in. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. So until then, cheers.